Welcome back to Behind the Stats here at this week. We're actually at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Matt Folks, Willie Wilson, you might recognize him. Dave O'Hara down there on the far end, where he needs to be. But Willie, first off, you're in town for a clinic. We'll touch on that in a minute because you also have the old timers game coming up later this month. I had to say it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But we're here at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, and as we were doing the radio show, I kept looking over your shoulder and seeing Buck O'Neill statue over here.
Right.
As you think about Buck and just what he has meant to your life, I mean, what just comes to mind for you?
Harmony, peace, um, goodness. Uh, Buck is just a good human being, and he was the kind of person that I always feel like that he didn't do anything wrong, and I just feel like everybody that's ever met him, he makes them feel happy and warm, and that's Buck.
We talked during the show and other broadcasts about your playing days, and when you talked about Buck being a part of your life all the way from when you were a rookie till he died just a little over a year, almost a year ago.
Right.
And we talked about him getting finally into the Hall of Fame somewhat, and but you talk about one of your favorite memories with Buck, and you told the Bo Jackson story, but also you were on to a pitcher one time, and he has a very distinctive voice. So if you could tell those two quick memories of Buck that you have, please.
Well, I'll tell the last one first. When you're hitting a baseball and you're hot, and sometimes you foul a ball straight back, there can be 50,000 people in the stands, but you could hear Buck's voice, and he'd say, "Oh, you're on him now."
It's a great
So yeah, it
impersonation.
is, and then so you knew that gave you confidence, so that you knew if Buck said you're on him, you're on him. And then the other story was we were in spring training, and we're talking, and Bo's on the other field hitting. And all of a sudden, Bo hits a ball out of the ballpark, and then all of a sudden, Buck just stops in mid-sentence, and he goes, "Who hit that ball?" And he goes over and he looks over and he says, "I've only heard two other sounds like that," and it was Babe Ruth and that guy that they call Josh Gibson.
Pretty good
So
company.
yeah, so that's pretty neat.
Now, one story you told during the radio broadcast that I had not heard before, the Jamie Quirk story.
Oh,
Jamie's in, I guess, Baltimore at the time.
yeah. Jamie, I guess he was a St. Louis catcher. He was an Oakland A's catcher, which I played with him later on in life. But this time he was in Baltimore, and he told me fastballs were coming both times, and I didn't believe him. And then the last time he said fastball again, and he threw me a curveball, and I believed him, and I swung at the fastball, but the curveball came. So that was pretty neat. And I guess I called him a few things he didn't want to hear, but it was kind of funny now that I think about it.
Well, and you said it was very funny at the time for him, extremely funny.
Yeah, well, Jamie's a practical joker, and playing with him, he's got a dry sense of humor, and when he's saying stuff to you, you really don't know whether to believe him or not believe him. That's why it was such a not believable thing to me that a guy from another team would tell me a fastball was coming, but because we all knew how he was, he probably knew that we wouldn't believe him. So he probably did it more than to just me. He probably did it to about two or three other guys. So
I was going to say former teammate, buddy, and it's like, well, what we want to talk about as well is, and I would like each and every one of you watching, and if you've heard the broadcast, give us your response via email. Willie, you've been coming back to town regularly now for the last couple of years, and boy, I'll tell you, more people have commented to Matt and me about how great it is to see you back in Kansas City and being a part of the community. And WillieWilsonBaseball.org, and you've got your third annual Willie Wilson Baseball Classic coming up May 31st, and you also got a golf a clinic on Sunday the 1st, and you've also got a golf tournament with all the former ball players on Monday the 2nd. But let's talk about first things first. You're doing a clinic, Willie Wilson Baseball Clinic, with Al Fitzmaurice, Bobby Dernier, and Ed Hearn. And also, by the way, your Willie Wilson Baseball Classic benefits the Children's Miracle Network. If you would talk about your clinic and why Kansas City, why you love coming back here.
well, I tried to do this in New Jersey, but when you only go to high school somewhere, most people don't really know you outside of your small town. But here in Kansas City, I grew up here as a young man. I played here, so I was a little bit known more as an adult here. So we decided to come back here and just extend it to here. And now we do most of our stuff here. And I just feel that we have more opportunity here. All my kids are born here, and I feel like this is my home. So even though I was raised in New Jersey, I feel like Kansas City is my home. So this is one of the reasons I want to do it. And also, you just got more opportunity to help kids, and there's a bigger city, and so with bigger cities means more kids. So that's why.
At the end of the month, as Dave mentioned, the Willie Wilson Baseball Classic at the T-Bone Stadium, May 31st. And this, if you have not been before, this is the third annual. It's a great time. I'm going to call it an old timers game, but they're not old; they're legends. So there you have it. But you can go to WillieWilsonBaseball.org. I'm guessing and find the complete list of players, but just some of the names. Kevin Seitzer will be there. Lee Smith, Joe Carter. And I don't want to leave anybody off, so I'll pretty much stop there. But what Amos Otis, I'll mention AO, yeah. But and Bobby D, we mentioned him already. But just what an event that is, and what a great time for the fans, because they can come out, they can buy an autograph ticket, get autographs from you guys, meet you. It's just a cool deal.
Well, I like it because the first time we did it, we were real skeptical about whether we were going to get people to come. But you find out that there's a lot of people around my age or a little bit older that really enjoy baseball in that time. So these are their heroes. So it was really nice to bring these guys back and to have it at the Cab. So I guess it's the Community America Ballpark. You guys keep calling it the T-Bones Ballpark. They're going to get mad at you guys pretty soon. Anyway, so I bring the players back, and the players love it. They get a chance to come out, and they get a chance to play, and they don't play, the whole 7 innings, but I do, and I feel it afterwards. But I mean, they get to play half the game, and the pitchers might pitch 2 innings, maybe three, and it's just fun, and the fans get a chance to see their heroes and get an autograph from them, and then contribute some money to Children's Miracle.
Well, the funny thing is last time we had you on the show, 5-6 months ago with Bobby D, I believe we coined the phrase CAB, Community America Ballpark. So we're familiar with that. Well, I wanted to say one other quick note that I hosted an event with you and Amos, or co-hosted an event or emceed out at the K, Kauffman Stadium, RBI Foundation, or Revitalizing Baseball in the Inner City. And there's no competitiveness at all between Willie and Amos. Let me just tell you that right now. You guys did a great thing, and it happened so spontaneous. I just want all of you watching and hearing to know. Between these two guys joking around, Willie and Amos, you guys raised almost $8,000 in just signing bats. I pitted these two against each other to say who can raise more money signing a Royals bat. And that was and I think it was a great day for Amos, and he was a little nervous and excited, as were you.
Well, it was a great day for AO. It was a great day for me, and I think it was a really great day for RBI. We signed some bats. We were auctioning the bats off, and it was going up. We didn't want to start off too high, so we started off at 100, and it just kept jumping. And then it got to the point where, one guy, I didn't want to get more money, and Amos didn't want to get more money, so I decided to say $500, a piece for each bat. And then finally one guy goes, well, I'll give you $1,000 a piece. And then somebody else goes, I'll give you another $1,000. And next thing you know, there's 6, 7, 8 grand. And I think the RBI was very pleasantly surprised, and they might invite us back again.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, it tells you how well you and Amos are liked and revered in this town, loved and revered in this town. And as you said, that was the first time Amos had been back and had been at the case. So you said he was kind of taking a couple of deep breaths and kind of getting himself focused.
Well, Amos, he said something to me, and I'm going to tell people this. He has this reputation in his brain that he was a bad guy and this and that about the Royals, and they didn't come off in really good terms. And I told him, AO, you got to let it go. It's a whole new regime. And we're slowly getting them back in here little by little. And I remember one day he said to me, he goes, I really had a good time, but don't tell anybody.
My mom was in town that week, so I took her out with me, and she said, well, Amos kept referencing, and all these people around me said, what a bad guy he was. He's the nicest guy. And he grabbed my mom and said, don't tell anybody, Mrs. O'Hara. Don't want anybody to know that.
Well, he plays on that a little bit, but I think, he was taking deep breaths at the ballpark. And it really is, we're human beings, and, you have feelings, and there's certain things that, you're not too comfortable with. And, he was getting comfortable being back in Kansas City, but that was the first time that he was ever back at Royal Stadium. Well, we call it Royal Stadium, right. The Big K. But, he was really kind of nervous, and that was the first time me ever watching Amos nervous.
Yeah.
I'd never seen him nervous before. And just coming back to a place like that makes him nervous. But he eventually relaxed and did what I always knew he was, a good guy.
Well, Willie, as Dave mentioned at the outset of this video, it's great having you back in town regularly. It's as a longtime AO fan, it's great to have Amos coming back a little bit more often. But we'll try to get you on again sometime down the road. But be sure to check out the Willie Wilson Baseball Classic out at the Cab, May 31st. Next week, Dave and I with the show will be at our old stomping grounds of Chapels up in North Kansas City. Check out our website over the weekend, behindthestatsradio.com. You can get a full listing of the guests and times and all that good stuff. For Dave O'Hara and Willie Wilson, I'm Matt Folks. Until next time, thanks a lot.